Everyone saw the pictures from my daughter's wedding. The flowers, the smiles, the champagne toasts at the Ballantine Resort. What they didn't see was what I did in the 96 hours before that ceremony. What I discovered. And the choice I had to make with my hand on her shoulder, walking her down the aisle. My name is Donovan Keith Mercer. I'm 62 years old, and I spent 34 years building Mercer Financial Consultants in Charlotte, North Carolina, before I sold it in 2023. I retired with enough money to enjoy my grandkids, travel with my wife Lorraine, and give my only daughter, Talia, the wedding she dreamed about since she was 8 years old. Talia is 29. She's a pediatric nurse at Atrium Health, smart as they come, with her mother's grace and my stubbornness. She met Preston Calloway 2 years ago at a hospital fundraiser. He's a 34-year-old orthopedic surgeon, confident, charming, drove a silver Tesla Model S, and treated my daughter like she was made of gold. At least that's what I thought. The wedding was set for Monday, April 14th, 2025, at 4 p.m. at Sharon United Methodist Church. We'd spent $78,000 on this event. The deposit alone was $23,000 non-refundable. 280 guests. Lorraine had been planning for 11 months. It was Thursday morning, April 10th, 5 days before the wedding. I was in my study going over the final payment to the caterer when I heard a knock on the sliding glass door that leads to the backyard. It was Carlos, my gardener. He'd been maintaining our property on Wendover Road for 6 years, every Thursday morning, 9 o'clock sharp. But today, he looked different, nervous. He was holding his phone in his hand, and he wasn't smiling. I opened the door. "Carlos, everything okay?" He shook his head. "Mr. Mercer, I need to show you something. And I can't take your payment this week." That stopped me cold. Carlos had never refused payment. Not once in 6 years. "What are you talking about?" He glanced over his shoulder toward the house, then stepped closer. His voice dropped. "Sir, I was trimming the oak tree by the side of the house on Tuesday, the one near Miss Talia's bedroom window. I had my phone mounted on the branch to record myself working. For insurance, you know, in case I fall." I nodded slowly, not understanding where this was going. Carlos unlocked his phone and pulled up a video. I didn't mean to see this. But when I watched the footage back, I saw something. "You need to watch." He handed me the phone. The video showed the side of my house, the window to Talia's old bedroom. She'd moved out 4 years ago, but she still kept some things there, used it as an office when she visited. The timestamp on the video read Tuesday, April 8th, 11:47 a.m. I watched. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Just the window, the curtains half drawn. Then I saw him. Preston Calloway, my future son-in-law, walking up to the side door of my house. He was carrying a duffel bag. He unlocked the door with a key I didn't know he had and stepped inside. My chest tightened. "Keep watching," Carlos said quietly. I did. 3 minutes later, Preston came back out, but he wasn't alone. There was a woman with him. Younger, maybe mid-20s, blonde hair, wearing yoga pants and a tank top. She was laughing. He had his arm around her waist. They stood by the door for a moment talking. Then he kissed her. Not a quick peck, a long, slow kiss. I felt my hands go numb. Carlos took the phone back. "There's more, Mr. Mercer. I checked my other recordings. He's been coming here every Tuesday and Thursday for the last month. Always when Miss Telly is at work. Always with that same woman." I couldn't speak. Carlos looked at me with something close to pity. "I don't want your money this week, sir. I just want you to know what I saw. What you do with it, that's your choice." But if that was my daughter, he trailed off, shook his head, and walked back toward his truck. I stood there in my backyard, holding the door frame, trying to breathe. Talia was at a nursing conference in Raleigh. She'd left Monday, wouldn't be back until Friday. Preston told her he had back-to-back surgeries all week and couldn't join her. I looked at my watch. It was 9:23 a.m. on Thursday, April 10th. The wedding was Monday, April 14th at 4 p.m. I had 102 hours. Before I tell you what I did next, let me ask you something. If you found out your future son-in-law was bringing another woman into your home 5 days before your daughter's wedding, what would you do? Comment below and hit that subscribe button because this story is just getting started. I didn't call Talia. Not yet. I didn't confront Preston. Not yet. Because here's what I learned in 34 years of running a business. Emotion makes you stupid, but information makes you powerful. I needed to know who this woman was, what Preston was doing, and most importantly, whether this was just an affair or something worse. I went back into my study and closed the door. Lorraine was at the florist finalizing the centerpieces. I had the house to myself. I opened my laptop and did what any father with a finance background and a working knowledge of databases would do. I started digging. First, I went to the North Carolina Medical Board website and pulled up Preston's license. Active, no complaints, no disciplinary actions. Clean record. He graduated from Duke Medical School in 2017, completed his residency at UNC Hospitals, started practicing in North Carolina in 2021. Then I checked his social media. Facebook was locked down tight, but his Instagram was public. Mostly professional shots, a few photos of him and Talia at charity events, nothing suspicious. But then I noticed something. In 3 of his older photos, from 2019 and 2020, there was a woman tagged. Not the blonde from the video, a different woman. Brunette, big smile, always standing close to him. Her name was Simone Calloway, same last name. I clicked on her profile. It was set to private, but her bio was visible. Blessed wife and mother. Charlotte, NC. Columbia, SC. Wife. My stomach dropped. I ran a public records search. It took me 10 minutes to find what I was looking for. Preston Avery Calloway married Simone Renee Foster on June 12, 2018 in Richland County, South Carolina. There was no divorce record. I sat back in my chair, staring at the screen. Preston was married, legally married, to someone else, and in 5 days, he was going to marry my daughter. I checked the time, 11:04 a.m., 92 hours until the wedding. I called my lawyer, Gerald Hutchins. We'd worked together for 20 years. If anyone could navigate this quietly, it was him. He answered on the second ring. Donovan, how's the wedding prep going? Gerald, I need you to do something for me, and I need it done fast. No questions yet. His tone shifted. I'm listening. I need you to confirm a marriage record for Preston Avery Calloway and Simone Renee Foster, married June 2018 in South Carolina. Then, I need you to check if there's a divorce decree, annulment, or any legal separation on file. I need it by tonight. There was a pause. Donovan, what's going on? Just do it, Gerald, please. I'll call you back in 3 hours. He hung up. I sat there, trying to process. If Preston was still married to Simone, then what was he planning with Talia? Bigamy? Fraud? And who was the blonde woman in the video? My phone buzzed. A text from Lorraine. Flowers are gorgeous. Talia's going to cry. Can't believe it's almost here. I stared at the message. My wife had no idea. My daughter had no idea. And the man they both trusted was a liar. I texted back. Beautiful. See you soon. Then I opened my desk drawer, pulled out a notebook, and started writing down everything I knew. Because I wasn't going to let this man destroy my daughter's life. But I also wasn't going to destroy her reputation by making a scene without proof. I had 4 days to find the truth. The clock was ticking. Gerald called me back at 2:47 p.m. Donovan, I've got your information. I put him on speaker. Go ahead. Preston Avery Calloway and Simone Renee Foster were married on June 12, 2018, at the Richland County Courthouse in Columbia, South Carolina. I pulled the certificate myself. It's legitimate. And the divorce? Silence. There is no divorce, Donovan. No annulment. No legal separation. As of today, April 10th, 2025, Preston Calloway is still legally married to Simone Foster Calloway. I closed my eyes. Donovan, you want to tell me what this is about? He's marrying my daughter on Monday. Gerald didn't speak for a moment. Then, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Donovan, you need to tell Talia. Right now. You need to stop this wedding. I will. But I need more than a marriage certificate. I need to know what his plan is. I need to know if Talia's in danger. And I need to know who the hell the woman in my house is. What woman? I told him about the video. About Carlos. About the blonde. Gerald exhaled slowly. This man is running some kind of con. You need to call the police. Not yet. I call the police. It becomes public. Talia's name gets dragged into it. She works at a hospital, Gerald. Her reputation matters. I need to handle this quietly, and I need leverage. Leverage? I need Preston to walk away without a fight. And to do that, I need to know what he's hiding. Gerald was quiet for a moment. What do you need from me? I need you to find Simone Calloway. I need an address, a phone number, anything. And I need it by tomorrow morning. I'll do what I can. Thanks, Gerald. I hung up and checked the time. 3:02 p.m. 85 hours until the wedding. Lorraine came home at 5:30 p.m. with sample napkins and a smile that broke my heart. Donovan, look at these. Ivory with gold trim. Exactly what Talia wanted. I smiled, nodded, pretended everything was fine. We had dinner. She talked about the seating chart, the DJ, the cake. I listened and responded in all the right places. But inside, I was screaming. At 9 p.m., Talia FaceTimed us from her hotel in Raleigh. She looked so happy, so excited. 5 more days. She said, grinning, I can't believe it's finally happening. Preston texted me earlier, said he's so ready. He can't wait to call me his wife. I wanted to reach through the screen and pull her out of that hotel room. I wanted to tell her everything, but I didn't, because I needed proof. I needed the whole picture. We're so proud of you, baby, Lorraine said. You've got a good man. Talia beamed. I really do, Mama. I'm so lucky. I forced a smile. We love you, Talia. Love you too, Daddy. The call ended. Lorraine went to bed at 10 o'clock. I told her I had some work emails to catch up on. I stayed in my study until 2 a.m., searching. I found Simone Calloway's LinkedIn. She was a pharmaceutical sales rep based in Columbia, South Carolina. I found her Facebook through a mutual friend of a friend, deep in the privacy settings. Her last public post was from March 2025, a photo of her at a restaurant with the caption, Celebrating good news. No mention of Preston. No wedding ring visible in any recent photos, but she hadn't divorced him. Why? At 3:17 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text from Gerald. Found her. Simone Calloway, 1447 Laurel Street, Columbia, SC. Cell 803-550-192. Be careful, Donovan. I stared at the address. 77 hours until the wedding. I wasn't going to sleep. I was going to South Carolina. I left Charlotte at 5 a.m. on Friday morning, April 11th. I told Lorraine I had to pick up a gift for Talia from a jeweler in Columbia, something I'd ordered months ago. She believed me. Why wouldn't she? The drive took an hour and 40 minutes. I pulled up to 1447 Laurel Street at 6:52 a.m. It was a small brick house in a quiet neighborhood. A silver Honda Accord was parked in the driveway. The porch light was still on. I sat in my car for 10 minutes, trying to figure out what to say. Finally, I got out and walked to the front door. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again. Louder. This time, I heard footsteps. The door opened a crack, the chain still on. A woman peered out. Brunette, early 30s, tired eyes. "Simone, can I help you?" she asked, cautious. "Mrs. Calloway, my name is Donovan Mercer. I'm from Charlotte. I need to talk to you about Preston." Her face changed. The caution turned to something colder. "I don't know what he told you, but I'm not interested." She started to close the door. "He's marrying my daughter on Monday," I said quickly. The door stopped. Simone stared at me. "What did you just say?" "He's marrying my daughter, Talia Mercer. The wedding is in 3 days. I found out yesterday that you two are still legally married." She opened the door fully, the chain still on, but her expression was different now. Shocked. Angry. "He's getting married? To someone else? You didn't know?" She let out a bitter laugh. "Of course I didn't know." "That son of a bitch. Mrs. Calloway, can I come in?" "Please. I need to understand what's happening." She hesitated, then unlatched the chain and opened the door. I stepped inside. The house was neat, modest. There were photos on the wall, but none of Preston. A few boxes stacked in the corner, half-packed. "I'm sorry to show up like this," I said, "but I need to know the truth. Are you still married to Preston?" She crossed her arms. "Legally, yes. But we haven't lived together in over a year. Why didn't you divorce him?" She looked at me like I just asked the stupidest question in the world. "Because he begged me not to." I frowned. "What?" Simone sat down on the couch, rubbing her face. "We got married in 2018. Things were good for a while. But then he started traveling more, working longer hours. By 2022, I barely saw him. I wanted kids. He kept saying not yet. We fought. A lot." She paused, took a breath. "In January 2024, I told him I wanted a divorce. He freaked out, said it would ruin his career, that the hospital board wouldn't promote him if they thought he was unstable. He said he needed time to fix things between us. He convinced me to stay legally married for 1 more year while we worked on it. And you agreed? He offered me $5,000 a month to stay quiet and keep my last name. I was struggling with sales commissions. I needed the money." She looked down. "I'm not proud of it. Has he been paying you?" "Every month. Direct deposit, like clockwork. Last payment was April 1st. I felt my jaw tighten. "So he's been paying you to stay married while courting my daughter." "I didn't know about her," Simone said quickly. "I swear, he told me he was focusing on his career. He said once he made partner at Ortho Carolina, we'd finalize everything quietly." "When were you supposed to divorce?" "June 2025. That was the deal. 2 months after he married Talia. This man was playing everyone." "Mrs. Calloway, do you know a blonde woman, mid-20s, who might be connected to Preston?" Simone frowned. "No? Why?" I pulled out my phone and showed her a screenshot from Carlos's video. The woman with Preston. Simone's eyes went wide. "That's Kendall." "Who's Kendall?" "His medical assistant, Kendall Morrison. She started working with him last year." Simone's voice turned sharp. "Are you telling me he's screwing her too?" "I have video of them together at my house." "Multiple times." Simone stood up, pacing. "That lying bastard. He's been paying me to stay married, sleeping with his assistant, and planning a wedding with your daughter? That's what it looks like." She stopped, turned to me. "Mr. Mercer, I'll sign divorce papers today, right now. I'll do whatever you need to stop this. I appreciate that. But I need more than a divorce filing. I need Preston to walk away from Talia without dragging her through hell. And to do that, I need to know what he's really after." "What do you mean? Does Talia have money? Property? Why is he doing this?" Simone thought for a moment. "Preston's drowning in debt. Student loans, credit cards. He leases the Tesla, doesn't own it. His condo's rented. He looks rich, but he's broke. How broke? Last I checked, he owed $340,000 in loans and $67,000 in credit card debt. My blood ran cold. Talia had a trust fund, $850,000, set up by her grandfather. She got access to it when she turned 30, which was in 6 months. Preston knew about it. I'd mentioned it once, casually, at a family dinner. He wasn't marrying my daughter. He was marrying her money. I stood up. Mrs. Calloway, I need you to do something for me. What? I need you to call Preston. Today. Tell him you want to meet tomorrow in Charlotte to finalize the divorce. Tell him it's urgent. Why? Because I need him distracted. I need him to think everything's under control while I figure out how to end this. She nodded slowly. Okay, I'll do it. I handed her my card. Call me after you talk to him. And Simone? Thank you, Mr. Mercer, she said as I reached the door. I turned. Tell your daughter I'm sorry. I didn't know. I know. I walked back to my car. Checked the time. It was 8:34 a.m. 63 hours until the wedding. I had what I needed. Now I just had to decide what to do with it. If you were in my shoes right now, would you tell your daughter immediately, or would you keep digging? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you're invested in this story, hit that like button and subscribe, because the next 48 hours changed everything. I got back to Charlotte at 10:47 a.m. Lorraine was at the church with the wedding coordinator. Talia was still in Raleigh, coming home that evening. I went straight to my study and called Gerald. I need you to prepare 2 things, I said. First, a cease and desist letter for Preston Calloway citing fraud and intent to commit bigamy. Second, a report documenting his existing marriage to Simone Calloway with certified copies of the marriage certificate. You're going to confront him? Tomorrow. Simone's calling him today to set up a meeting. He'll be rattled. That's when I move. Donovan, you should tell Talia first. I will, after I've handled Preston. I'm not giving him a chance to spin this, Gerald sighed. I'll have everything ready by tonight. At 1:15 p.m., Simone texted me. I called him. He sounded nervous, but agreed to meet me tomorrow at 2 p.m. at a coffee shop on Park Road. He thinks I'm signing papers. Perfect. I spent the rest of the afternoon preparing. I printed every document, screenshots of the videos, the marriage certificate, the financial records Gerald had pulled showing Preston's debts. At 6 p.m., Talia came home. She walked through the door glowing, carrying her suitcase and a bag of wedding favors she'd picked up in Raleigh. Daddy! She hugged me tight. 3 more days. I held her, trying not to break. 3 more days, baby. Lorraine made dinner. We sat at the table, the 3 of us, talking about last-minute details. Talia showed us photos from the conference, laughed about a keynote speaker who tripped on stage. She was so happy, and I was about to destroy it. But not yet. Not until I dealt with Preston first. At 9 p.m., Preston texted Talia, "Miss you. Can't wait for Monday. You're going to be the most beautiful bride." She showed me the text, smiling. I smiled back. "He's a good man," she said. I nodded. Inside, I was counting the hours. Saturday, April 12th, 1:52 p.m. I was parked across the street from the Daily Grind coffee shop on Park Road. Preston's Tesla was already there. I watched him through the window. He was sitting at a corner table, checking his phone, leg bouncing, nervous. At 2 p.m., Simone walked in. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could see Preston's face shift from forced calm to confusion to anger. The conversation lasted 12 minutes. Preston stood up abruptly, said something sharp, and walked out. Simone stayed seated, watching him go. My phone buzzed. A text from her. He's pissed. Sighed I was trying to ruin his life. I told him I knew about the wedding. He denied it, then said he'd handle it. He's scared. Good. I waited 5 minutes, then followed Preston's Tesla. He didn't go back to his condo. He went to my house. I parked down the street and watched. He pulled into the driveway, got out, and walked to the front door. He used his key, the one Talia had given him months ago, and went inside. Talia was at her final dress fitting. Lorraine was with her. The house was empty. Preston was inside for 8 minutes. When he came out, he was carrying a folder. One of Talia's folders from her desk. I knew what was in it. Her financial documents, the trust fund paperwork. He was stealing her information. I took photos of him walking out with the folder. Then I followed him back to his condo on Providence Road. I parked, pulled out my phone, and called him. He answered on the third ring. Hello? Preston, this is Donovan Mercer. Silence. I think we need to talk, don't you? Mr. Mercer, I'm actually pretty busy right now. I'm parked outside your building. You have two choices. You come down and talk to me in my car, or I come up and we talk in your hallway. Your choice. Another silence. I'll be right down. 3 minutes later, Preston walked out of his building. He looked thinner than usual. His confidence was gone. He opened the passenger door and slid in. Mr. Mercer, I don't know what Simone told you, but I handed him the folder. Inside was the marriage certificate, the financial records, the screenshots of him and Kendall, the video stills. He flipped through it, his face draining of color. I know you're still married, I said, my voice calm. I know about Kendall. I know about your debt. And I know you've been planning to access my daughter's trust fund. Preston opened his mouth, then closed it. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. You're going to call Talia tonight and tell her the wedding is off. You're going to tell her you realized you're not ready for marriage. You're going to apologize, and you're going to disappear from her life. Mr. Mercer, please, I can explain. I don't want your explanation. I want you gone. What if I don't? I leaned closer. Then I'll call the police and file a fraud report. I'll notify the North Carolina Medical Board about your attempted bigamy. I'll make sure Ortho Carolina knows you were stealing patient data to cover your debts. And I'll make sure Talia knows exactly what kind of man you are. Preston's hands were shaking. Or, I said, you walk away quietly. No scandal, no charges. You divorce Simone. You leave Charlotte, and you never contact my daughter again. He stared at the folder. I'll file the divorce papers Monday, he said quietly. You'll do it today. Today's Saturday. Then you'll do it first thing Monday morning. And you'll call Talia tonight. Preston closed his eyes. She's going to hate me. She get over it. Better than spending her life with a liar. He got out of the car without another word and walked back into his building. I sat there, gripping the steering wheel, trying to breathe. 40 hours until the wedding. But there wasn't going to be a wedding. Preston called Talia at 8:47 p.m. I wasn't there when it happened. Lorraine and I were at the rehearsal dinner venue, finalizing payments. But Talia called me 20 minutes later, sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. Daddy, Preston broke up with me. He said he can't do it. He said he's not ready. The wedding's off. My heart broke. Baby, where are you? Home. Mama's here. Daddy, what do I do? Everyone's coming. The church, the flowers, everything's ready. I don't understand. I wanted to tell her the truth. I wanted to tell her what Preston really was. But not yet. Not while she was this fragile. I'm coming home right now. Lorraine and I drove back. Talia was in her room, curled up on her bed, crying. Lorraine held her while I stood in the doorway, useless. Why would he do this? Talia whispered. He said he loved me. I walked over and sat on the edge of the bed. Baby, I need to tell you something. She looked up at me, eyes red. Preston didn't leave because he wasn't ready. He left because I made him. Talia frowned. What? I told her everything. The video. The marriage. The debt. The folder. By the time I finished, Talia's tears had stopped. She was just staring at me. He was going to marry me for my money? Yes. And he's already married? Yes. She stood up, paced the room, then sat back down. You knew this for 2 days and didn't tell me. I wanted to protect you. From what? The truth? From him? I wanted to make sure he couldn't hurt you. Talia shook her head, wiping her face. Daddy, I'm not a child. I know. I deserve to know. You're right. I'm sorry. She looked at me for a long time. Then she exhaled. Thank you. For what? For stopping it. For protecting me. Even if I'm pissed at you right now. I reached over and squeezed her hand. You're going to be okay, Talia. I know, she said quietly. But right now, I just want to sleep. Lorraine stayed with her that night. I went back downstairs and started making calls. I canceled the church, the caterer, the DJ, the photographer. We lost $31,000 in deposits. But my daughter was safe, and that was worth everything. Monday, April 14th, 4 p.m., the time the wedding was supposed to start. Instead, Talia, Lorraine, and I were sitting in our living room, eating takeout and watching old movies. Talia was quiet, but she was smiling. A small smile, but real. You know what's crazy? She said, looking at me. I was about to marry someone I didn't even know. That's not your fault, I said. I know. But it makes me wonder how many other things I missed. How many red flags I ignored because I wanted it to work. That's what we all do, baby. We see what we want to see. She nodded. Well, from now on, I'm seeing everything. I smiled. Good. My phone buzzed. A text from Gerald. Preston filed for divorce this morning. Simone confirmed. It's over. I showed Talia. She read it, then handed the phone back. I hope she takes him for everything. She will. That night, after Lorraine went to bed, Talia came into my study. Daddy? Yeah? Carlos, the gardener. He's the one who told you, right? Yeah. I want to thank him. I'll make sure he knows. She smiled. And Daddy? Next time you find out my fiancé is a lying con artist, tell me immediately. I laughed. Deal. She kissed my forehead and went upstairs. I sat there in the quiet, thinking about what could have happened. What would have happened if Carlos hadn't been trimming that tree? If he hadn't recorded the video? My daughter would be married to a fraud, trapped, broken. But she wasn't. She was free. And sometimes, that's the only victory that matters. 6 months later, in October 2025, Talia used part of her trust fund to open a financial literacy program for young women at her church. She called it the Red Flag Project. She never talked to Preston again. Simone divorced him and moved to Atlanta. Last I heard, Preston left Ortho Carolina and moved to Florida. Carlos still trims our trees every Thursday. And I still think about those 96 hours. The choice I had to make. The truth I had to uncover. People ask me if I regret how I handled it. If I should have told Talia sooner, maybe. But I don't regret protecting her. I don't regret making sure that man couldn't hurt her. Because that's what fathers do. We watch. We protect. We act. Even when the clock is ticking. Thank you for staying with me through this story. If this resonated with you, or if you know someone who needs to hear it, share this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. What would you have done in my situation? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, remember, the truth always comes out. And when it does, make sure you're on the right side of it.